saltiness isn't bliss, I am sharing with you tonight a tasty meatball recipe. So on my channel, I have featured traditional ground beef meatballs and garlic butter turkey meatballs. Stick around because tonight is Basil Parmesan chicken meatballs. So we're going to start with 1 pound of ground chicken. To that, we're going to add all these tasty ingredients you see behind me. So we've got a 1/2 cup of breadcrumbs. I go with panko. Panko are the low sodium. 1/3 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. And 1/8 teaspoon of ground red pepper. Now, if you want to give your meatballs a little more of a kick, you can always go with crushed red pepper or any other kind of pepper that's got a little more spice, a little more kick to it. We're going to mince a couple garlic cloves. All right, so I've just put 2 minced garlic cloves into the bowl. On top of that, I'm going to go with some cracked rainbow peppercorn. Any pepper will do, and that will be to taste. And last but not least, I have got a package of fresh basil in the house. Finally, I love the smell, love the taste of it. So we are going to use that entire package. Okay, so my basil's got a pretty thick stem on it, so what I'm going to do is just pull my leaves off and reserve them on the side so that we can then chop them before they go into the bowl to mix into our meatball mixture. So if you want to do that, you can always substitute dried basil. It's very rare I have fresh herbs in the house, so I was just excited to actually incorporate them in this recipe. So all our fresh basil is pulled off of the stem. You can of course leave it on the stem as well if you want to go that route, and that's easier. So now we're going to kind of just ball it up with our fingers, and once we get it in a nice little tight clump, we want to take a knife and just kind of cut through that into strips or ribbons, just so it's not as large as it was when we started. Our pieces are going to be nice and chopped and spread evenly within our meatballs. So now we want to just scoop all that fresh basil, drop it right into our bowl. Okay guys, so your hands, a spoon, a fork, a spatula, whatever you've got, just mix and blend all those tasty ingredients really well, and then we will move on to our last and final step. Okay, our meat mixture's all ready to get formed and put in our air fryer. So I am going to put it in the basket there, put a light layer of cooking spray. You can of course cook them in the oven if that's easier, you don't have an air fryer at home. We want to cook them at 400 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes. So now we're just going to grab a small handful of meat, kind of roll that in our hands, and our meatballs should look something like that, and we will just repeat those steps until we run out of meat. Here they are, guys, all ready to be cooked. I got 12 in total. Of course, you can make them as large or as small as you like, so your amount may vary. And now, like I said, 15 minutes, 400 degrees. See you then. All right, guys, our air fryer just beeped, and I took a little peek in there, and oh man, those meatballs look amazing. We'll get to those in just a moment. So over here, I've got some fresh off the farm sweet corn, and I just wanted to give you some tips on how you can flavor and season your corn without adding tons of salt into your flavors. So I've got a small amount, but of course you can use any amount you like, of unsalted butter here. Put some unsalted butter on our corn. Next up is some pepper. This will all be to taste, of course. So just a nice layer all the way around. And then last, I top it with some dried parsley flakes. And there you have it. So on to our basil Parmesan chicken meatballs. Let's get some of these on a plate. One last and final step with our meatballs is we want to drizzle some olive oil right on top. So you can either pour it out, or in my case, I don't really trust that I am gonna not pour this whole thing out and just have too much. So I'm just gonna dip the end of my fork in there and just kind of pat it on the top of the meatball there to just give it that added little flavor without being saturated in the oil. Now, of course, it's to taste. You can put as much or as little as you want. There they are, and there's the ranch. Thanks so much for watching. I want to give a very special birthday shout out to my very special cameraman behind the camera there. You can't see him, but I can, and it's his birthday today. So, see you next time.